Alright, and we are live. What is up, everyone? So, just allow the stream to just populate a little bit, and we can kick off this live stream looking at the whole crypto market. It is extremely bearish at the moment, and I think, to me, this technical bear is one of the best buying opportunities. Remember just 3 weeks ago when I mentioned that the whole metaverse space was just gonna have to correct at least 90%. Okay, so 90% would not be one particular token, but just basically maybe the ones that are not as popular, that were hyped up and were carried through by the whole Facebook metaverse announcement. But now you're seeing the whole market, right, correcting. So BTC already broke the $40,000 mark. I mean, in my Discord group, I was already saying that, you know, this time around it just feels more bearish than usual. I think in terms of economic fundamentals, it's just finally it's just finally catching up, because interest rates have to, or at least has signaled to increase, right? So that's gonna increase the borrowing costs for most lending facilities, and that's going to discourage further borrowing, especially at the consumer level, because a large part of crypto is still driven by consumer borrowing and the willingness to spend in crypto. So I'm really excited, guys. I'm actually very, very jittery, because for once, right, whenever I make an announcement about, you know, the markets going down and everything, and at the point people are always just always optimistic about crypto, but generally speaking, every time that we are in the Chinese New Year period, it is always bearish, except for last year, back in 2021, when the whole DeFi space was blowing up. You had Uniswap, Sushi, you had Curve, all just, you know, bringing the markets to a new high, and then after that, just literally tapering off in May, June, July. Had a little bit of a spike, but no new all-time highs. You had Polkadot going up to 55 in the last quarter due to the parachain auctions that just kicked off. But as you can see, Polkadot is way below $20 at the moment. But I think this presents an excellent time, right? If you are really truly into the whole crypto space, now is the time to start zeroing in, making sure that you are funded for your accounts, and making sure that your accounts are also secure. Okay, so all these things I will be covering in this live stream. Like I said, this is just non-financial advice. I'm here to educate the public and also sharing my opinion, my buying strategies for 2022. And yeah, let's kick off. So right now, when I look at BTC, it is looking very, very attractive, because every time that there's a 50% correction in BTC, right, to me it's quite a no-brainer. Institutional money will just be coming in. It's gonna be well supported, at least at the $30,000 region. I have this feeling. Okay, I don't even know whether we'll even hit this FIP support. To be frank, the 0618, that means 32,600. I don't feel that it will happen. I just don't. But it's always good to place some orders there, especially if you're new. And if you haven't set up an account, right, I think setting up an account today would be a very, very good idea, because there's going to be a whole series of stuff that you need to do, KYC, so on and so forth. So if you haven't done so yet, hurry up and get it done, guys, because if you miss out on at least buying positions in the market, I think the people who lose are the ones that lose the opportunity to buy at these kind of lows, right? So I've been keeping my mouth shut, right, about buying anything in general, and this goes straight up in my private group as well. I've been very, very quiet, been very, very patient, because each time I see the charts, right, it's just more and more bearish. But the more bearish it is, right, the more attractive it becomes to me, especially because I've been keeping like my funds liquid, you know, not being too being very, very conservative, because I wanted to get into the metaverse action, guys. I really wanted to buy sandbox tokens. I wanted to buy some Gala tokens, you know, just to get in on it. But I realized that, hey, if I'm going in now, I'm the sucker, right, buying sandbox at $7, $8 and cashing people out. I didn't want to do that. So right now, I'm really, really very excited. But first and foremost, BTC is looking very attractive, but I feel that there's more downside because, like I said, the market doesn't know how to value BTC properly. And BTC is always about supply and demand. And don't forget, there's a lot of scams that have been conducted lately that I feel that a lot of like for example MetaMask accounts have been hacked for Ethereum, for example, and the whole space is just slightly messy. So at this point of time, I would strongly suggest you get your accounts ready, and then at the same time, right, make sure that you secure your accounts, right? Secure your accounts, secure your email accounts especially, and then from then, right, start funding it and start prepping to buy up that BTC, guys. Remember, when you're buying up at from 50% off from the all-time highs, you are definitely going to just do better once the bull market comes into play. Now, I think there are going to be some questions that I don't mind taking in the chat. So if you have questions, feel free to ask, and I will do a quick Q&A. So anyway, hi Cameron, and hi Adi. Nice to see you guys, man. Yeah, so I will be covering ETH. Sorry about that. I'm going to pull up the ETH chart as well. Let me just do a quick one. Yeah, ETH is definitely on my radar as well. It's like I said, I think ETH is also the most popular layer 1 solution at this point of time, hands down. But I think we're looking for the best potential ROI, right? So I think not many people have enough liquidity to actually own, right, a full Ethereum at any one point. But of course, for those who do, right, Ethereum is obviously looking extremely attractive too, right? It's like when you look at it, right? When you look at it, okay, let me just do a quick fibs, right? Quick fibs, okay? We have already reached, and you notice where Ethereum bounced off, right? 2,500, right, was the mark where it bounced off, and it's a huge sell down, but I think the major buying will be happening at 2K flat. Okay, major buying for Ethereum will be happening at 2K flat, no doubt about it. I would pretty much say that even if it reaches 2K, right, it will be very temporary. So I would strongly recommend the buying range to be between the 2,000 to 2,500 region. And if you have the liquidity now, like literally now, if you have the liquidity now, get some Ethereum. Now, no all in. There will be no all in place in a technical bear that could last potentially 3 to 6 months, even the whole year. Because right now, the economic data has to sink in. When you have jobless claims coming out, you have interest rate announcements happening. There's gonna be a lot of FUD fed into the market, both from a stock standpoint, to global macro conditions, to crypto related stuff, and I pretty much say that all this adds up to the bearish sentiment that we are experiencing now. Can you imagine, right? It is literally and always stairs up and elevator down. If you notice, right? It's always stairs up and elevator down. That has always been the problem about crypto. Like, everything was short-lived, if you notice, right? You look at how much upside we got, only to have very quick downside. And this is the daily, and by the way, this is just the daily, guys. It's just a daily a chart. It's not even like a weekly chart that I'm showing you right here. So that's kind of like how sad people need to react. Like people spend more time in the bearish market compared to enjoying the day in the sun for crypto. It's I don't even know how to explain it. But I do but take note that if you are buying crypto for the very first time, right, the cycles are getting shorter. That means, okay, although it ends rather quickly, but the trend is still up. Okay, the trend is still up. It's just that you need to pick your spots. So when I was back in banking, right, I realized that a lot of people always thought that buying has to be buying for the long term, hodling for the long term. You have to throw all that nonsense out of the window. You know why? Because crypto moves so fast that if you are like sleeping, right, on your toes, you are not gonna sleeping on your feet, not sleeping on your toes. Sleeping on your feet, you will not have the opportunity to cash out optimally. That's the sad case, right? Because come on, man, say you were, having a meeting during this period of time. you were just busy with family or whatever the reason, right? And then now everything is just crashing down. You failed to lock in any profit. Now you don't have any liquidity, or you have very little liquidity, because I think most of us, right, if you have a day job, right, your liquidity or your cash, right, or your salary comes once a month. And after paying off all the liabilities, what else do you have left? So this is kind of like the stuff that I kind of teach, or at least I remind my group members, right, that has been running since 2019. No shame in saying that. I think being in one of the more veteran trading groups in the whole crypto space, internationally as well, has really benefited everybody, because I think experience plays a big part. So right now, when I look at Ethereum, everything is oversold. Okay, like if you look at the RSI, right, on the daily, it's oversold. It's really a straight up buy. You don't really have to think too much. You're not going to be having to be too fearful. But if I was to recommend another step up, I would say that wait for the weekly to hit, literally the weekly chart to hit the oversold mark, right? The moment it hits oversold on the weekly, right, that's when I promise you the buying activity will come back. I don't have even a flicker of a doubt that the buying activity will come back really strong. Okay, so anyway, Ethereum, at this point of time, as much as I don't think that there will be a bounce, I feel that there will be more liquidation coming further, right? Because, and also don't forget, right, that folks are still, a large part, everyone is speculative, okay? Everyone is still shorting the market. So there could be a bounce due to the fact that there is going to be a short squeeze, right? Because now there's perpetuals up. There's also forwards running. All these things are running on the derivatives market that could potentially, right, cause a short squeeze. And when that short squeeze happens, right, you're going to see this bounce up. But fundamentally, if people are strapped for cash, crypto, unfortunately, is not the number one thing that they're going to be thinking of to buy. But for the veterans here, I would always recommend at least buying between the 2000 to 2005. So I'm going to move on from Ethereum. I'm going to go back to BTC. I was supposed to cover BTC. Adi, that one's for you, okay? Now, 32,600 would be the buying region, and we are already in that buying zone. I'm not saying that we cannot trend lower. I think 22,000 for BTC is just so attractive. Why do I say this? Okay, now I'm gonna put this in very, very simple layman terms. I feel that if you kind of think it through, right, let's say versus a car in America versus a car in Singapore, but let's do it for the folks in the US. I realize how things work nowadays. If you were to buy a car, right, it is a depreciating asset. And people don't need that many cars. You just need one car, guys. One car will do. But if you are willing to instead not buy that car and buy one BTC, right? And BTC just goes back up to 60,000, crosses 60,000 to 80,000. Can your car do that? It cannot. So having a very functional second-hand car will do. You don't need to buy a first-hand car. You need to buy BTC. And that's what I think. And the moment BTC goes to that $22,000 mark, right, you see for the fact that there's that potential of further upside. I stress this now. I'm doing this video after doing... I don't do much videos these days, guys. So to me, below 30,000, right, is such a sweet deal for a lot of people, and it's more in reach. Okay, why is it more in reach? Firstly, you are now able to buy fractions of a Bitcoin. You can always buy a fraction of a Bitcoin, and now you are owning more of it, right? As long as you have 10K set aside, right, you can own 1/3. Whereas in the past, if BTC was to hold at 60,000, you only hold 1/6 of a Bitcoin, right? And it doesn't give you that sense of ownership. But now if you own 1/3, that ain't too bad. Now if you had more saved up and you had maybe spare cash of a 30,000 or something like that, now you can own almost close to a whole Bitcoin. It feels good, guys, to own one whole Bitcoin. It just feels good. If there's any NFT, right? Well, I mean, of course, Bitcoin isn't an NFT. But let's just say you want to own a cryptocurrency and you want to be part of the club, right? Owning one whole Bitcoin is pretty baller. So anyway, just wanted to clear that up. Okay, next thing, on to the next layer 1 solution, Polkadot. Now, Polkadot to me, right, has the largest potential to move upwards, right? I know there's AVAX, I know there's Solana, everyone has been doing well, but Polkadot has not been performing as optimally because they are the more slower cryptocurrency layer 1 solution out there. It's all about the building, it's all about the community. And when you listen to what the community is saying, right, the amount of development on Polkadot is astounding. It's crazy. So to me, if Polkadot didn't move much and couldn't even clear the $30 mark, right, after especially 6 parachain auctions successfully going through, that means all these dots, right, are currently locked up for anywhere from, I think, a minimum of 2 years. But yet the price didn't hold. There's just too much speculation in the market. And with a bear market correction like this, I can pretty much guarantee you it's going to chase away all speculators, and it leaves it to the rest of us who have been quietly sitting at the side, observing and reading up on the fundamentals. Because I think a lot of people, right, always just throw fundamentals aside. They think that crypto has no fundamentals. I've been listening to so many podcasts from traditional financial advisors, and they keep saying that crypto has very poor to no fundamentals. That's because you don't know where to look. Gurus, old advisors, right? Please don't kind of tell me that there's no fundamentals. It's just that the matrix is different. The way you look at the perimeters is very different. Okay? So just so you know, there is fundamentals. It's just that you need to know where to look. So right now, Polkadot, if you ask me, is a buy, a straight up buy for me, right? If at this point of time, right, Polkadot is not on your portfolio, it's best to get some in your portfolio, at least get some exposure. Of course, if you've been holding it, you've been staking it, awesome. Like myself, I've been holding and buying, holding, and I bought Polkadot at the way before this period, right? And I even did a whole bunch at the $10 region. Now, if it goes back down, holy moly, you can bet that I'm buying a ton of Polkadot. Okay, this is my straight up buy for 2022. Like, no doubt, I'm already very tempted to buy, guys. At this point in time, I'm already tempted to buy Polkadot, but I'm holding back because I believe that there's going to be more opportunities. I believe that we can potentially get a cheaper price. So I'm just holding back, but I already have a good stack of Polkadot. Now, moving on. The next one that I want to have exposure, right? And I've been tinkering back and forth what to buy. I've been really thinking very, very hard. Is it gonna be Gala? Is it gonna be Sandbox? Is it gonna be Illuvium? Is it gonna be Axie Infinity? But you know what? I'm gonna go for the Sandbox because I feel that Sandbox has a larger ecosystem. I've mentioned before that the amount of people looking and paying attention to your project is extremely important. If you're going to create a multiverse, it better have a multitude of people. It has to have a sea of people looking at the stuff that people put on those little metaverse, little grids, right? Because if no one is even on your platform, nobody gives a crap about what is your token price. So I did mention before when I made the video, about everything just correcting, and I was right. I was right because at the time when I did the video, it was about maybe $5 to $6. I don't know. You can check back. I did mention that it was going to correct 90%. Now it's still not corrected 90%. I would say that now it's at the 60% correction from the all-time high. But if you look at the candle close, it's just slightly below 50%. So to me, Sandbox is my straight up buy call for 2022 for metaverse related exposure. Now, this is not going to be the major composition or major allocation in my portfolio, but I'm definitely going to be buying up very, very soon. I have some exposure at about the 450 region. I did kind of feel that, okay, 450 is not too bad, but that was a very, very small, minute position just to put a bookmark, get some position just in the event that it starts moving. But right now, the discount is just so attractive, guys. I feel that I want to put my money all in, but no, I'm not gonna do an all in at this point in time. I'm gonna do a very straightforward, simple dollar cost averaging for the next 3 to 6 months, regardless of whatever price bounce or whatever. I just feel that the downtrend is still very, very strong, and I hope to see a sideways consolidation, giving me a good amount of time to buy when the price is supported. That just feels so good, don't you think? Yeah, so these are the things that I am looking at. It's very straightforward, guys. Metaverse play, sandbox for me. Layer 1, okay, so basically cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, right? Because when the whole market recovers, Bitcoin will be the first to recover. So 80K and above is only a matter of time. Ethereum, I know once Ethereum crosses and is stable, it goes to proof of stake, it's going to go to the moon, okay? 8,000 to 10,000, I'm going to say it right now, 8,000 to 10,000 Ethereum, especially when once the gas fees go down due to just more efficient sharding and proof of stake, everything is going to come into play. But give yourself more time for Ethereum, okay? Ethereum is going to be a slow dinosaur kind of moving situation here, okay? So don't think that you're going to buy today, it's going to go to 8,000 to 40. It's not going to go up so quickly, okay? So give it some time, okay? And for Ethereum to also cross the 10K mark, it's already a nice, sweet ROI for you, okay? So that time I made the call to buy Ethereum was at $700. 784 was when I bought a bunch. I think it was the beginning of 2021. I made that video that buying, correct, 2021, I said buying Ethereum was crucial. You also can check that video out in my library. You can find it somewhere. I said buying Ethereum was crucial. Now I'm making another buy call for Ethereum as well. And thank you, Adi, for also reminding me about Ethereum. I was just so excited. Anyway, Polkadot, same thing, buying, accumulating, staking, enjoying that 14 to 16% rewards. Do check on the validators that you choose at times, because sometimes they may increase the commissions that they charge. So far, I've chosen and a mix between Jaco to I think Jaco and Zark Capital. I think I switched recently to something else. I need to go and check, guys. So basically, as long as you are one of the top few nominators, right? The nominees, right? I can't remember the minimum, but as long as you're on the top few, I know that 3,000 dot you're pretty safe, right? 3,000 dot you're safe. In fact, maybe if you are having 500 to 600, you're a little bit close to getting cut away, because there are more people buying dot now, especially when dot is cheaper. I would say that you're going to potentially get kicked out of being one of the top nominators within that validator node. So please be mindful that you keep your dot stack qualifying, because each era, right, they will keep checking to see whether, okay, are you one of the top nominators. So if you're not, then you get kicked out. Obviously, the other alternative is staking on your exchange. I think Kraken, if you still can use Binance, you can do it on Binance. ZipMax has not enabled staking for Polkadot yet, but I think at some point they're going to be enabling it. So all this kind of stuff. Now, Sandbox, on the other hand, right, would be awesome once they will enable Sand staking. So that's the part why I'm very attracted to buy Sand, because I feel at some point, right, the staking will not be doing a liquidity pool kind of feature. It will be staking Sand and earning Sand. That's what I'm buying. Why I want to buy Sand at a very reasonable price. Okay, a reasonable price would be just technical pricing, right? Because like I said, it can drop back down to $2 and I would still be buying, because I want to stake Sand. I feel that at this point of time, I am more inclined to buy a potential plot of land, although it's unfortunately very expensive. But thankfully I didn't buy, because firstly, when you see all the land prices was based on the $4.50 and above to $5. Now those pieces of land unfortunately have dropped at least another 30%, 20 to 30% in value. There's no reason for you to increase the price or expect that people are going to be buying at that same amount, right? I mean, there are people who are not very weary of the price fluctuations. Like, for example, if it's going to be 2,500 Ethereum back in just a week ago, it's a very different price for 2,500 Ethereum today. Let's just say that's the difference in the price, right? If you're listing that property for that price. So I think the floor price now, if last I checked, would be around 2 ETH to 3 ETH. Now 2 ETH to 3 ETH just last week, when ETH was about 3,003, is almost $12,000. Let's say you put it at 3 or 4 ETH. Now 3 or 4 ETH at the same listing, right? For the fact that now Ethereum is 2,000, what is it now? 2,600. That works out to about 7,000, 6, 12, 18. So it's about 7,800. You have got a very sick discount, guys. 7,000, 6, 12, 8, yeah, sorry. So 7,800 versus 12 to 13,000 just 2 weeks ago. You have a very massive discount on that plot of land at the moment. Now, please bear in mind that the whole metaverse space is still very, very young. If you are intending to buy, make sure that you're buying with the intention to stake and also potentially maybe promote a business or have the intention of building something. You need to enjoy being in the metaverse. Like, you have to see the long-term play. You have to make sure that it makes sense to you. Flipping, to me, if you get lucky, sure, you can list it and you hope that someone comes along and decides to buy up your piece of land. But I feel that if that person is so open-minded and willing to come and buy, you shouldn't be selling too early either. You should be holding it, waiting a few cycles in the market, right, before you decide selling. I know that the whole NFT space is all about minting stuff early and flipping, but I always believe that the secondary market strength, the secondary market demand is so important. That is the one where it provides me the data for stability, right? It's no different from buying a Patek, buying an Audemars Piguet, buying a Rolex. The secondary market price is always very different, and once they see for the fact that the secondary market is strong, they are able to increase the retail prices at the front. You understand? Because they know that there's a demand. Right now, all I see is that there's so much demand at the front and there's no secondary market demand. This is what concerns me, and that's where a lot of people get hurt. So these are the things that I just wanted to cover. So I have a few folks. Affin, how about Affin? Their metaverse and is from a Singapore strong team. So the Affin guys, basically I've known them a while, literally known them for quite a number of years actually. So I won't be covering too much into it. It is something that I'm not invested in. I'm not invested in Affin, so I kind of don't want to comment. I'm not entirely sure on how strong their development is, because firstly I just want to say that they are not developers. Okay, they are mostly all marketers and business folks, entrepreneurs. They're not from completely the tech space. They're not completely from the crypto space, other than initial investors of crypto, but that's just about it. So they are not game developers. They did hire game developers to come on board to help structure, but I think they are still too early for me to take a look at them. Now the next thing is I think Sands is going to run up nicely going into the summer. And Zhen Yu, what's up, Jenny? Thoughts on Function X, their upcoming decentralized exchange? Okay, so Pundi X, if you ask me, Pundi X is obviously capable and funded enough to create whatever they want. But whenever you create a team-based project, for example, if you ask me whether they created a decentralized exchange during the decentralized exchange, when decentralized exchanges was hot, then it's okay. But I think decentralized exchanges has already taken a back seat, as you can see from the price of many of the tokens. It's just now going to serve a utility and function and prep for the next bull market, right? So why DEXs are going to be popular? Because if there's going to be a lack of access, right? Lack of access to centralized exchanges due to potential bans, restrictions, and whatnot, then DEXs are going to do well. But with the number of DEXs that are out there, right? They better bring on some functions and utilities that is just better, right? That it's always like that, because there's just too many already. If you're going to be creating a DEX only for your community, then your community's liquidity, right, has to be very ample, because you after creating DEX, you need to have the liquidity in that DEX to help people to swap at the most fair rates, right? That means the bid offer spread is very tight and with very low gas fees. So obviously, I'm sure they're going to use the Pundi X token to pay for the gas, right? That creates an additional layer of liquidity. But to me, they are a little bit late in the game. Okay. So let's say, what's your next talk? Talking about Function X, their derivative AMM DEX just came out for alpha testing. So cool, Tesla USDT. So, about that, I think Binance actually launched a stock token related page once, and because of the lack of interest and liquidity, it actually took a back seat, and they actually removed the whole thing. So I'm not entirely sure whether or not this is going to fly off. I still remember at one point of time in the market, I think it was back in 2018 or 2019, when the whole ICO market died down. Okay, there was the whole stock token. I can't remember what it was called. Right, there was the whole stock token phase, and then there was like this hype on polymath and licensing and making sure that it just didn't take off, right? Because there was just so much red tape, there was so much resistance that I think I don't even know whether the project is still even building or is it around, like polymath, right? And trying to it's basically stock tokens. I just can't remember what was the term. We used to term it that way. Anyone in the chat can help me out. Please feel free to put the acronym out. But anyway, I think right now I'm going to be looking at two things. Okay, so metaverse is one thing. NFT market is one thing that I'm going to be looking at. Layer 1 solutions, I'm going to be continuously accumulating, as I mentioned, BTC, Ethereum, Polkadot, back to the same things. You can look at your own alternatives like Solana and AVAX or whatever you prefer. But always remember, like I said, guys, there's no straightforward solution at this point of time. There are multiple solutions at this time. And whoever is going to come up on top, right, it's always determined on the price and actual demand and the use case of that network. Okay. So I think, guys, I pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover. I've mentioned whatever I wanted to mention. I feel that, like I said, the opportunities are awesome at this point in time. Like price-wise, oh my goodness, guys. If you are not buying now, I don't even know when the heck you all want to buy, So anyway, have a very, very great weekend, and I'll see you in the next live stream.